In this video, I'm going to talk about offer sources. So offer sources have two primary purposes. Firstly, for categorizing your offers into where they come from, and secondly, for templating. So an offer source is exactly that, the source of your offer. Where does it come from? Usually this would be an affiliate network or something like, say, ClickBank, but it could also be your own products. So it's up to you to make offer sources as you see fit. Now when you create an offer source, there'll be a number of templates available, which you can see just by typing, as you can see here. When you create these, the main part you're going to deal with is this configure data passing. So for any offer, which you'll see later, usually you're going to pass data in the URL to that offer. Most often, that's going to be standardized or systematic. You're going to pass it in the same way every time. For typical affiliate networks, you might be passing something under S1, S2, S3, or you might be passing under FSub, FSub2, and so on. So here in offer sources, you can conveniently template this, and as we'll see in a moment, this helps when creating offers. So here, I'm just going to pick generic cake platform, and you can see here it fills out these fields S1, S2, S3, and S5. You could use S4 here, but my habit is to always pass unique tracking IDs under the last numbered ID if I can, but quite often platforms might have a specific field for unique tracking IDs, like this hit. So we have these configured here. You can choose whatever you want to pass. For most offers, if you're using server-to-server tracking, you're going to have to pass our hit ID to that offer, and generally I would recommend passing funnel and traffic source ID as a minimum, just to help with optimization on the other side. Secondly, the tracking tokens here. So if you're using server-to-server tracking, you're going to need to pass our hit ID back to Funnelflux using the postback. You can find this postback in the system settings area over here. What you can do here is put the tokens that your offer source would use to pass back this data. So we passed our hit ID under S5, and we can see here that the token in this cake platform that will process into that value stored under the S5 parameter is hash S5 hash. Likewise, for offer payout, this is price. This is just dependent on that platform, so you'll need to, if you're not using a template, you'll need to look at that platform and find out what their tokens are. And transaction ID, which is optional. In fact, both of these here are optional, so if you don't use this in a postback, we will use whatever default value you have set at the offer level, and transaction ID is just optional should you want to actually pass it. So here you get the postback URL to use with this offer source, and here you get similarly the JavaScript tracking code. Okay, so let's save this, and I already have one, so I'll cancel. You can see it under generic here, cake platform. Now I want to show you what happens with these offer sources. So if I go to offers and I create a new offer, if I put some cake offer here, and I select the source and I put cake platform, what you'll see is all of these fields here get filled out. So if I change to a different source, let's pick ClickBank, you can see these values change. There. So the point of the offer source is mainly for templating your offer config here so that you don't have to type these things out repeatedly. So for the base URL, we might put some link here. Often we might have an affiliate ID in it and some offer ID. Then the rest of it can all be appended automatically using the section, giving the resulting offer URL that you see here. So this way, you only have to put the most basic part of your link here, and the rest of it can be templated to avoid making mistakes and making it systematic, rather than you having to write tokens into the URL like this every time, or repeatedly duplicate offers just to achieve that level of convenience. So that's pretty much it. And if you go down to conversion tracking, you'll see the postback URL is already populated here. using the tokens that we configured in the offer source. So it's mainly for convenience that you use these offer sources. Right, and one other thing I wanted to mention, this templating is one way. So if I choose Cake Platform and I save this, if I then go back and I modify this offer source and change this Cake Platform here to something else, it will not modify all of your existing offers. We might add this functionality later, but we don't want them to be linked, because otherwise if you change something here, you might affect all of your live offers and potentially break passing of data or break your tracking in some way. So that's why it's one directional at the moment. Okay, that's everything for offer sources. I'll see you in the next video.